Hey everybody, it's Caitlin, your favorite machine girl and wannabe Jedi. I am back. I hope you all had a great week last week. I hope your Memorial Day after you watched my video was amazing, wonderful, awesome. The weather was awesome here. We were told that we were supposed to get storms and the storms never happened. It was hot and humid though. Today they told us we were supposed to get storms and we did have some rain off and on earlier. A lot of rain, and now it's like the sun is like, I want to come out. No, I want to hide. I want to come out. I want to hide. So the sun doesn't know if it wants to come out or not. But so far, the unofficial summer season has been gorgeous and beautiful. Little less rain than normal here, but we're Michiganders. We have the lake, so a little rain is nothing we're going to sneeze or freak out over or go to like, so okay. I know I've been telling you for like the past 3 weeks that I will do a review for the book Dark Disciple as soon as I finish it. I said I was gonna do it this week. Guess what? 1,000 apologies. I still haven't finished Dark Disciple yet, and the reason was I had library books and I got distracted by the library books. My grandma sent up a bunch of Christian romance books, Amish romance books, which I adore, with my mom, and I've been reading those. So honestly, I've been reading everything but Dark Disciple, which I don't understand why, because I am actually enjoying it. I'm loving this book. It's an amazing story. It's adding so much to the Star Wars universe, and it's actually canon, so I'm enjoying it. I'm really loving it. I'm really getting into the story, especially where the plot is at right now. It's getting really, really interesting, and I just keep getting distracted by everything else. I started posting lightsabers last week, which is my third story, Star Wars fan fiction, and I'm struggling with that one because it is so much different from Your Time Has Not Yet Come and On a Lease of Earth, both of which were a little bit more darker, a little bit more serious. Lightsabers is serious because it is dealing with the whole going on the journey to get your crystal and build your lightsaber, but it's not supposed to be as dark and as serious as On a Lease of Earth was. And then my next book one is the one I'm really worried about, which I haven't even started writing yet, which is Annie and Anna's 416, and that is supposed to be just a really fun, lighthearted story, because after that story, I write Moonbeam, which is just another kind of serious fic about when the twins turn 18, and then I jump right into my Attack of the Clone rewrite, which is called Edge of War, and that's gonna be dark. And then I have Knights, which will be dark, and then I have Child of War, which will be the rewrite of the 2008 Clone Wars movie, and that will be dark. And then I finally will have what will end up probably being the longest story in the series, which is Fighting for Peace, which is basically rewriting the Clone Wars TV show. Only certain episodes though, because I don't want to rewrite the entire series, just certain key episodes with my favorite characters. That's going to be kind of lighthearted, but still going to be dark. And then I have to rewrite Revenge of the Sith, which is called The Edge of Peace, and then that will be dark. And then finally the last story, which will probably be the weakest one of them all, is called In Sunfilled Gardens, and that's just going to be a one-shot. So yeah, I'm struggling right now with lightsabers. One of the reasons I'm struggling is I cannot write combat scenes. I am no good at doing combat, which is one of the reasons why I'm trying to rush through Dark Disciple. Not only do I have Quinlan Vos in lightsabers, I also cannot write a fight scene to save my life. And I'm starting to get towards those stories in the series where I will have to have full-on fight scenes. And it's like, lightsaber battles, blaster battles, I can probably fake my way through. But when I get to the ones with like the ships and like the fights in space, like the starfighters and stuff, I am not going to be able to fake my way through that because they're cool, but I have no way to be able to describe it. So I got to get onto my Star Wars books because I can fake my way through a lightsaber, I can fake my way through a blaster battle, I fake my way through those, but I don't even think I can fake my way through a starfighter fight, so that didn't even make any sense. So I really, really, really have to nail down and get to reading these Star Wars books, because if I don't, I have a feeling that the rest of my series is going to be really hard. And I really want to get the Anakin Annalise series done, because I already have a second series that's more of a trilogy that I want to do for the Gargoyles TV show. I already have a character prepped for that series and everything. I'm adding in this character named Reagan, who's a Fae-human hybrid. And her foster parents abandoned her on the streets of New York when she's like 5 years old because they can't take her special needs. She can't, like the gargoyles, she can't go out during the day, but unlike the gargoyles, she doesn't turn to stone. She just has, it's basically that allergy to sunlight, and she's got like the albino feature, so she can't go out in the sun, and her foster parents abandon her, and the police find her, and come to find out one of her ancestors was actually adopted by the gargoyles. He knew the gargoyles, and they kind of adopted him into their clan because he was one of their very few human friends, and he was pretty much living like a gargoyle. And so that's a trilogy that as soon as I finish Anakin and Annalise, I'm going to start. I already know that won't be as popular, the Reagan trilogy, which is what it's going to be called. I know that won't be as popular as my Anakin and Annalise story, because Anakin and Annalise is Star Wars, and this story is going to be gargoyles, and it definitely probably will not be as successful. I mean, I'm still floored. I checked Annalise of Earth the other day, and I officially had over 10,000 views on that story, so I was like, wow. Apparently I'm doing something right by choosing a really popular series. Hopefully the more confident I get, the more I'll be able to focus on writing an original story, because I would love to do that. I just don't know if I can. Which is why I'm trying fan fiction first. If I can write amazing stories using characters that are already really well known, and introduce a new character and have that character blend pretty well seamlessly into it, and have you feel just as deeply for that character that I created as the characters that have been created and have been around for years, then I feel that much more confident about creating my own entire world and putting it out there for people to read. So that's why I'm doing fan fiction. Wicket. Wicket does not like to stay up. What do you want to hear? You want to sit on my lap? Say hi. Wicket says hi, everybody. He's going to stay on my lap because he obviously does not want to sit by Chewy. Sorry, Chewy. I don't think Wicket likes you too much. I'm sorry. I like you. Everybody likes Chewy. Yeah, so anyway, also last week I said I would not do any more Star Wars shopping stuff until Rebels. My nose is growing. My Rebel bead did come. It's right there, and it's nothing special. It's just a dangle with the symbol. And then I ordered another Star Wars bead because I have 3 beads for Disney. I would love to have 3 beads for Star Wars, so I ordered a 3rd Star Wars bead. And it's the bead with the, it's not a dangle, it's, like this, like my Hello Kitty bead right here, but it's got, the Jedi Order symbol on it, so, yay! That will make me happy. And then, I saw this, Barnes & Noble has special editions books, hardcover books, where they took the original 3 novels, so New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and they put them in collector edition books, and they're $25, and I broke down and I got one yesterday. This is, there's like, I think 4 different covers. There's, Darth Vader. This is R2. There's C-3PO, and I don't remember. I think there's 4. I don't remember what the 4th cover is. Each edition has something different. This one came with a poster, a reproduction of the original poster. Not this poster, the one that's right here. This one is from when they released it in theaters during the 90s. It's actually the original one. But this is the front. It's got R2 on it. It's really cool. And on the back, it's the fight scene at the Death Star with the Falcon and TIE Fighter. So that's really cool. And then on the front and back pieces, it's actually Ralph McQuarrie concept art. This is from, of course, New Hope. So, look at R2. So weird. So this is like, this is Ralph McQuarrie concept art from New Hope. And then this, at the back, is, got that. This is concept art from obviously either it's obviously Empire Strikes Back. I wasn't sure at first, and then I realized, oh look, the X-Wing crashed into the stomp. Okay, it's Empire Strikes Back. So that's really cool having the two Ralph McQuarrie art pieces, because I don't know if he's still alive or not. Ralph McQuarrie's art, especially his concept art for Star Wars, is just so amazing, and to this day it's still being used. They used some of it for Force Awakens, and Dave Filoni in Rebels, like, they used a ton. They were heavily inspired by Ralph McQuarrie concept art. In fact, little known fact if you didn't know it, Zeb the Lasat, he's actually concept art. Ralph McQuarrie did a ton of different concepts for all the characters, and Zeb was actually a concept design for Chewbacca. So apparently Chewbacca was still supposed to be furry. Not as furry as he ended up being in some of the concept art, but that's what Zeb actually is. Zeb is actually Chewbacca concept art that just fits really well with Rebels, and Zeb, I don't know, Zeb is just a really cool character. I keep saying everything is cool, but yeah, everything about Star Wars is cool. And actually, look at the side of the book. It's Anakin's lightsaber. Yeah, I hope that's Anakin's lightsaber. I can't tell, but it should be Anakin's lightsaber with, of course, Darth Vader and a Stormtrooper bucket head at the side. So it's actually a pretty cool book. Was it worth the $25? Probably not, but it is a collector's edition, and I'm really, really, really hoping that soon, very soon, they will actually do something like this for the prequel novels, because they did do prequel novels, and the prequel novels are just as good as the original novels. And also, one of the reasons I got this is also I need it to help me write my fan fiction because of all the fight scenes and stuff. So yeah, I need help. So I got this, and really I'm getting more Star Wars stuff, and part of it isn't even me buying it. I came home from work Friday night, and I walk into my room, and my mom is trying to get me to get rid of some of my clothes because I have lost weight. I don't think I've lost a lot, but obviously she thinks I have, so she's been trying to buy me like nightgowns and stuff, so I throw away some of my old stuff. So I come home, and there's 2 nightshirts on the floor, and I pick one up, and it's Star Wars! It's like, ah! Sorry. I freaked out. I'm like, oh my god, Mom, I love you! It was basically my reaction to when I walked out of work one day, and I found the Star Wars coloring book on the seat. I usually sit in the van. I'm like, oh my god, I love you! I'm so happy! And I got so excited, and then she picks me up last night from work. I get in the van, and there's this sunscreen, you put on the front windshield of your car to block out the sun, and I pick it up, and it's, again, Star Wars, and it's Han, Luke, Chewie, and Obi-Wan sitting in the cockpit of the Falcon. I'm like, oh my god, I love you! And it's like, so, my mom is, indeed feeding my Star Wars obsession. So, yes, my mom is kind of feeding into my Star Wars. She still has never seen Star Wars. She has no desire, actually, to see it. But I'm just glad that she supports me, and I think she's actually happy that I am obsessed with Star Wars, and because she was not too happy when I went through my phase where I was totally head over heels obsessed with, Twilight. Which brings me to a question. Layla, again, Lila, I keep calling you Layla or Lila, I switch, bear with me. She's the only person who's been commenting on my video, so it makes me feel really happy. This last comment, she actually says she's always wondered how many different types of Star Wars fans there are. So here's her actual thing. She said, thank you for the love. I've always wondered, like, how many different types of Star Wars fans are there? Like, I know there are die-hard fans and beginner fans, but what are the other types? Also, what is your definition of a fan? So first, my definition of a fan is if you like something. So you can like a book. Shoot. Excuse me while I pick up my very expensive Kindle Fire, which if I break it, my mom will utterly destroy me. Okay, well, first, my definition of a fan is anyone who likes something. So, like a sports team, a book series, a movie, a video game. So basically, if you just like something and you're willing to put in so much time and energy, then you are a fan. Like, you don't have to put in a lot. there are like what I call fair weather friends, not friends, fair weather fans, like friends. These are the fans who are also fad fans. These are the fans who like it as long as it's popular. So like Twilight, I was a fad fan. I was a fair weather fan. I liked Twilight for as long as Twilight remained popular, and I was very much into Twilight. I defended Twilight against all the people who hated it, but as soon as Twilight's popularity started waning, and as I got older, I started realizing, I really didn't like Twilight that much. The books weren't that great. The movies were okay. They weren't really that great. So a fair weather fan or fad fan is a fan who will only like something for as long as it's popular. The best example is when a sports team's doing really well. If you live in a state where all of a sudden the sports team, like it's baseball season, so the state's MLB team is suddenly doing amazingly well. They're winning all their games. They're on track to go to the championship. All of a sudden, every single person in that state is a fan of that MLB team. So it's like, if the Detroit Tigers suddenly started winning all their games, going to the championship, going to win, suddenly all these people in Michigan will automatically start saying they are Tigers fans. They love the Tigers. The Tigers are awesome. But if the Tigers then lose a game or lose a championship, all those same people who were saying they were fans while the Tigers were winning will no longer be Tigers fans because they simply lost. So, like, I'm a Tigers fan, and I like them even when they lose, but, like, someone like my dad only likes the Tigers when they're winning. So that's a fair weather or fad fan. You only like the team, the book, the movie, whatever it is, when it's popular. So that's a level of fan, and that's not even that's kind of just above a beginner fan. But so you can start liking something, and then you can either go into, like, you start liking Star Wars. Well, then you can either go into the deeper fandom, or you can be a fair weather or fad. You start liking something, and then you only like it for as long as it's popular, and then you jump on to the next thing. My mom, and you don't, and then if you get past the fad, that's when you become a true fan, and that's when you start going to the different levels of hardcore. Like, there are different levels. Once you get past being fad, that's when I say you start being a true fan, a hardcore fan. And the different levels in that is depending on how much time, money, and energy you can put into being a fan. Like, I'm a Star Wars fan. I don't have that much time, and sadly, I'm wasting more money than I have to be a fan. But that doesn't mean much because it's all what I figure is the effort. Is how much effort you put in to whatever you like. That can make you a hardcore fan. Like, you don't have to put in a lot of money or time, but if you put in enough effort in collecting things, like going and printing stuff online or following or reading the books and stuff, then I consider you a pretty hardcore fan. Like I said, I've been wasting a ton of money on Star Wars stuff. Well, Star Wars is not the only thing that I'm a hardcore fan of. I love Star Wars. But I also love the Cassandra Clare books. I love the Moral in her books. And I don't spend as much money or time as I do, or effort as I do on my Star Wars stuff, but I'm still as big a fan of Cassandra Clare books as I am of Star Wars. It's just that Star Wars, it's easier for me to get stuff for Star Wars than it is for me to get Cassandra Clare. And again, I'm a huge Hello Kitty fan. I have been a Hello Kitty fan since, I think, junior high or high school. I absolutely love Hello Kitty. But when you come in and look at my room, again, the first thing you're going to see is you're not going to notice the Hello Kitty stuff. You are going to see my stuffed Wicket. You are going to see Chewbacca. You are going to see my Star Wars posters, my Star Wars pictures. If you look at my bookcase, you will see my Star Wars books. That is what you will notice first. You will not notice my Hello Kitty that is dressed in an MSU t-shirt with a green bow. You will not notice my Hello Kitty garbage can. You probably won't notice the Hello Kitty necklaces I have or the Hello Kitty bead on my bracelet, because what I have right now is I have Star Wars stuff. My mom actually did not even realize that I was still a Hello Kitty fan because I have more Star Wars stuff than Hello Kitty stuff. But I am still a Hello Kitty fan, and I will always be a Hello Kitty fan, much like I have always been a Star Wars fan, and I will always be a Star Wars fan. So, like, yeah, I'm still a Hello Kitty fan, obviously. So, It's just that there are certain fandoms that it's easier to put in that time, effort, and money, and right now that fandom that's easier to do that for me is Star Wars, because I'm able to find more Star Wars stuff. Like a lot of the Hello Kitty Sanrio stuff I want to get, I'd have to order, and yes, I did order Wicket and Chewie, but right now it's so much more easier for me to go out and get the Star Wars stuff than it is for me to get the Hello Kitty stuff. And all fans will go, even hardcore fans will go through a point where their obsession does die off a little. I mean, I've always been a Star Wars fan, but I'm just now reaching like really deep hardcore status. I've always been a beginner fan, and I've always liked Star Wars, but at some point your obsession will die. That obsession will die a little, normally due to time or something else comes along. Like, I liked Star Wars. I was a huge Star Wars fan, and then Twilight came along. I was still a Star Wars fan, but Twilight took a bigger chunk of my time, and then this other stuff took a bigger chunk of my time. That didn't mean I didn't stop loving Star Wars. It just meant that I wasn't as crazily obsessed as I am now. I will always love Star Wars. I will always be a hardcore fan, but that's not saying that sometime in the future I will start liking something else and be putting a lot more time and effort and energy into that fandom than I will be with this fandom. So, you can still be a hardcore fan, but might be following something else for a while, but you will always come back to something. Star Wars was really the first thing that I ever really got into to be a hardcore fan, so that's why I will probably never give up on Star Wars. I know, I'm just cuddling Wicket, so I'm not sure if that answers your question, Layla. I consider myself a hardcore fan, but I'm light hardcore. There's like different levels of hardcore. Like I said, the more time, money, and energy you can put into that fandom, the higher your level of hardcoreness will be. Like, go to YouTube and check out and type in Boogie Storm. Boogie Storm is this dance group that was on Britain's Got Talent this year, and they were dressed as stormtroopers. And they did really well. They actually made it all the way to the finals. They came in 3rd place. They were really popular. They're really popular. But fans like them, like Boogie Storm, and obviously the people who do the 501st and the Rebel Legion, those are like at the top of hardcore fandom. That is like, they are willing to do anything. So, I'm definitely light hardcore because I obviously, even though I keep saying I won't spend much money, I obviously can't spend the amount of money it takes. Like the really hardcore fans, medium to high hardcore fans, they're the ones who are going to go to the Star Wars conventions, who are going to get the VIP tickets, who are going to go to all the panels, who are going to go do this and do that and go to the premieres and camp out. Those are the fans, like I said, the more time, money, and effort, the higher your level of hardcoreness. Like doing the vlogs and the fan fiction for me, that is keeping me right at light hardcore. If I ever win the lottery, I would definitely probably work my way into the medium hardcore level of Star Wars fandom. So, I hope that answers your question, Lila. It was probably more confusing, but yeah, if you like anything, you're a fan. If you just like it for as long as it's popular, you're a fair weather or a fad fan. Once you make it, which is just a step above beginner, and once you make it past the fad, then you start getting into it, you start collecting the stuff, you start talking about it, showing interest, then you start slowly moving into becoming a hardcore fan, and the more money, time, and effort you put into that fandom, the higher your level of hardcoreness is. So, kind of a hardcore fan, not too hardcore, because obviously, if I keep spending money like this, I'm gonna go broke. And I still have student loans, so, excuse me. And if you're wondering, the only other thing I am currently obsessed with as much as Star Wars is Disney, and yeah, so. And Disney owns Star Wars right now, so that doesn't help. But yeah, Disney and Star Wars are my 2 top obsessions. And Disney has always been my top obsession, and Star Wars has usually been like 2nd or 3rd, sometimes 4th, but it's always been there. So, yeah, you can be a hardcore fan, but sometimes your obsession does die away for a while, but probably won't be a few years for me. I might start collecting. I want to get back into collecting Sailor Moon stuff, But again, that's something that I'm going to have to spend a lot of time and effort and again money on. Money is a big part of being a fan, is how much money you're willing to spend. Especially with Sailor Moon, because I can go to Barnes & Noble and get a ton of Sailor Moon stuff, but the Sailor Moon stuff I want, I have to order online. So, yeah, so being a fan is definitely fun. Wicket, you're shedding! Yeah. So, say bye, Wicket, because you're going to go sit somewhere, because you're going to go sit and be good for a little while, okay? Mwah, I love you. Hey, sit by Chewy and be good. So like I said, I can't do Dark Disciple today, but I'm going to introduce you guys to something else. I am kind of an otaku, which is I'm a fan of Japanese manga and anime. Not just Japanese, I do like Korean and even Chinese dramas. They're really interesting. I actually just finished a Chinese drama called My Amazing Boyfriend, which is really cool. It's about this human who something happened to him like during the Joseon era, so 500 years ago. And he is no longer human. He's a mutant. He has super healing abilities. Like if he gives you his blood, you will heal. And he can jump and he can run and he can hear and he's really strong. He's really amazing. And when the series starts, he's been asleep for 100 years and then he is being transported as a dormant corpse. And he gets into a car accident with this B-list actress who she nearly dies, but her blood revives him, so in turn he uses his blood to save her life and they become connected, and if she dies, he dies, so it ends up being he has to stay with her to protect him, and they clash because they have two different sets of values and ideas, but they end up falling in love. It's a really cool story. It's actually based on a Korean drama that I just started watching called My Love from the Star, which has a similar plot, except the mutant is an alien, and he's been obsessed. He has 3.5 months left on Earth, and the one thing he wants to do before he leaves to go back to his planet is find this girl he saved 12 years ago, because this girl looks just like a girl he met and stayed with when he first arrived 500 years ago on Earth. And I just started watching it. I think I'm on like the 3rd or 4th episode. It's really cool. But I really like stuff like this. And so I talked about this last week. It's a manga series that's still ongoing. And as a bookworm, I'm absolutely obsessed with this series. It is called Library Wars. This is the most recent one. And it's set in, let me see if it, it doesn't say. I think it's set in 2025. It's set in the future in Japan. And, in this series, there's something called the Media Betterment Committee. Basically, the MBC, as it's called, has passed censorship laws, which basically means they are now able to control the media, the TV, the books, the press, and basically they're just censoring, and they get really violent. So into this is created the Libraries Freedom Act, which is right here, to protect the libraries from censorship. So the Library Freedom Act reads, libraries have the freedom to acquire their collections. Libraries have the freedom to circulate materials in their collections. Libraries guarantee the privacy of their patrons. Libraries oppose any type of censorship. When libraries are imperiled, librarians will join together to secure their freedom. So basically, in this world of censorship, the libraries are the only organization, they're basically a private army that are able to get around censorship. Like, you can go to the library and get like a book that you can't get at the bookstore or your school library or anything like that. You can go to your local library and get anything that's been censored and take it home and read it, and the MBC can't do anything about it because the libraries actually have a law for themselves that put them above censorship. But that doesn't mean the MBC isn't going to stop and stand there and take it, and it's actually it can get pretty violent. But Library Verse follows this girl named Iku Kashihara, and she wants to be part of the Library Defense Forces, which is the private army that protects libraries. She's really tall, she's a tomboy, she's kind of awkward and gangly, and she loves books. The reason she becomes a member of the Library Defense Force is when she's a teenager, she's at a bookstore and goes to get a new book she's been waiting for years, and while she's there, members of the MBC do a raid, which is basically they go to a local bookstore and sees all the books that are on the censored list. And the book that Iku wants is actually on the list because of a few problematic phrases. Just to show you how stupid the NBC in the series is about censorship, in one story arc, they say a news article cannot be printed about that a celebrity did because in the interview, the celebrity says the word barber, and that's on a list of banned words. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? So Iku fights to protect this book and says fine. If the NBC threatened to arrest her, she says fine, arrest me. You'll have to take that book as evidence. You won't be able to destroy that book or get rid of it because it's evidence in an arrest. And while she says this, and in that store is a member of the Library Defense Force, a young man named Dojo, and he wasn't going to do anything because he is such a rules follower, and then he hears Iku say that, and he stands up, seizes the books, and gives Iku the book that she valiantly protected so that she could have it. And she says, oh, he's my prince. I'm going to join the Library Defense Force one day so maybe I can meet this guy because he's my hero and he's my prince. And why should there be censorship? Why is this thing even existing? You know, let's fight it. Let's make this world a better place. And it's really interesting because this is the most recent one, and actually in the story arc that it's covering is an author who's been banned from writing because his book, a book he wrote about a terrorist act at a nuclear facility, has been claimed as the inspiration for an actual terrorist attack at a nuclear facility. And I think it's touching because it's not in this one. I think it's in the one before this or like a couple books earlier. She asks this author, what was it like to live in a world without censorship? Because she has never lived in a world without censorship. She's fighting against it, but this is the only thing she's ever known is a world where this committee of mothers and teachers and politicians are censoring everything they can. So, she's fighting for a world without censorship, but she's never lived in a world without censorship. So I think she was only born shortly after it started, but she doesn't know anything different. So I think that was really touching when she asked the author, what was it like to live in a world where there was no censorship in Japan, where you could say anything. And he says, well, it kind of really wasn't that different from it in today, only censorship is official, but even without censorship, there were still people who were offended, who didn't like what you were writing, who didn't like what you were saying. So it's definitely good. And Iku and Dojo, when they meet at the start, actually don't get along. So I'm bouncing back and forth. So they don't get along. They fight a lot, and he's her commanding officer. But as the series go on, Iku and Dojo's feelings for each other do deepen into love, and there's a lot of these other characters. They're really funny. There's Iku's best friend. There's this guy named Tezuka who is torn because his brother is the head of this thing called Future of the Libraries Committee, and they believe that the library should become an official government organization and accept censorship and follow the rules in order to fight censorship. That's an interesting concept to me because in Star Wars, like I said in one of my Star Wars vlogs, how Princess Leia ends up gives the ships to the rebels. She works within the law to break the law, and that's something they talk about in one of the episodes in season 2 of Gargoyles, when the Mangus has to smuggle the Grimorum onto Avalon because it wasn't written on Avalon. He eats it and then he says, oh, I get it now. We have to work around the rules, work with the rules to break the rules. So what the Future of the Library Committee wants to do is it wants the libraries to follow the rules so that they can then break the rules. But the Defense Force does not believe that whatsoever. And so yeah, if you're a bookworm and you're really interested, this is kind of a dystopian book series because it's set in the future, and it's really interesting about censorship, and reading it in this day and age, especially after what happened with Charlie Hebdo and all these other things about what is too much to be put in print and stuff, it is really interesting to read a manga series. It is a romantic series, romantic action adventure series. But once you get past all that and dig deeper into like the ideas behind the censorship and stuff, it is definitely very interesting to read. Like I said, especially when Iku asked the author what was it like to live without censorship. You know, what was it like to live without fear of being caught, of having your books burned, of being arrested for saying the wrong thing, for writing the wrong thing. It's just definitely really interesting to read a manga series about censorship in this day and age, like I said, with the Charlie Hebdo and all the reality TV shows and stuff out there, like how far is too far. I read an article, I think it was like a couple months ago actually, that Playboy announced that they will no longer be doing full-on nude photos in their magazine starting I think like next year. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but when I read that, I'm just like, what? Because for as long as I can remember, not that I've ever looked at Playboy, but I know what Playboy is, obviously. I actually watched a really cool documentary about Playboy because I just think it's interesting. Like, my mom doesn't like Playboy, but I was always kind of taught that Playboy was wrong, but it's okay to admire Hugh Hefner because he saw an opportunity and jumped at it, and look what it gave him. He was not afraid to admit that in America, sex sells. Very good. But yeah, it's like Playboy won't be doing new photos anymore. Well, that's kind of interesting, but they're saying that the reason they're going to stop doing it is because of the changing values in our culture, which is interesting that as we pass more liberal laws, we're becoming more conservative in our values, and it's like, that doesn't really make any sense. So it's, again, like I say, it's really interesting to read Library Wars, a manga that's not just about love and action and adventure, but about censorship in this day and age when it feels like at any moment now, depending on, like, even in America, we might be facing an age where suddenly we have to be very, very careful about what we read and write in a country where we enjoy freedom of the press. I mean, it's just a really interesting manga. It's obviously, I don't think it's meant to be taken very deeply, the whole thing about censorship, but it's just there, and the censorship thing plays such an important part. It becomes such a big deal. Like, the old head of the library forces, Commander Inami, the whole reason they started the Library Defense Force is because of something called the Hino incident, in which he was paralyzed, his wife was murdered, and all these books were destroyed because the NBC just went on full on and attacked the Hino library because the library had no defenses. The police never showed up. So it can get very dark and very serious at times. And like I said, the issue of censorship, well, I don't think it's supposed to be a main component. It's actually very much in the forefront, especially in this story arc, which is at the end. So yeah, if you like books and you're interested in like current events, like the idea of censorship and stuff, definitely check out Library Wars. There's currently 14 volumes of the manga out. I don't know when volume 15 is coming out. I hope it's soon. I think it's like one volume a year, which I really hope it's soon. It's really good. So yeah, check out Library Wars, and that's it for today. I can't believe it's almost, oh my god, it's almost 40 minutes. I gotta end this, so I went off on a tangent. So yeah, summary. Fans, if you like anything, you're a fan, just be careful that decide pretty early on if you're just going to be a fair, you could end up being fair weather or fad, or you're going to go on hardcore. I will try. I will do this. I will do it. Do or do not. There is no try. I will finish Dark Disciple this week so I can put up a book review for it either Saturday, Sunday, or Monday because I have 3 days off again from work. I'm getting a newbie this week that I will show off on my next video. Check out Library Wars if you're a manga fan. It's really good. It raises some interesting questions about the idea of censorship in the modern age. Pushes the idea of how far is too far. But yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you guys either, I don't know if I'll do it Saturday. I might do it Saturday, but I will see you guys soon in a few days. Enjoy the beautiful weather if you're living where it's beautiful. If not, take shelter if it starts getting too nasty. Wicket, come back out here, say bye. Wicket says bye. I say I will see you guys later. This is Caitlin, your favorite Michigan girl and wannabe Jedi. I'll check you later. May the Force be with you.